Hello, and welcome to the DCIFF Film Chat Podcast. I'm Erin DeVos, and I'll be your host for this season. Join us for insightful interviews that explore the work of up-and-coming independent filmmakers from all over the world. If you're passionate about film and keen to learning about the creative process from the future cinema greats, this podcast is a must-listen for you. Our mission is to provide listeners with the engaging and informative conversations about successful and innovative films, including features, shorts, documentaries, animation, and web series from across the globe. The DCIFF Film Chat Podcast is a unique opportunity for independent filmmakers to have their voices heard in a way no other film festival can provide. You can listen to the DCIFF Film Chat Podcast on all podcast platforms or visit our website at DCIFF-indie.org/DCIFF-podcast. Thank you. Hello, DCFF Film Chat fans. It's your host, Erin DeVos, for another episode. I am interviewing the filmmaker Emilio Martí, who's a filmmaker from Spain. And amongst the things that he does, he's a producer, director, and animator of films that often mix animation and real image and aim for social change. Much like his film Little Sahara, who he'll describe in more detail into this episode. But in addition to producing his own films, Emilio often accompanies other people in the process of artistic and cinematic creation through his educational work and background as an art therapist. I really enjoyed my conversation with him, as well as meeting him at DCIFF 2024. Even though we speak after the film festival, I do want to congratulate Emilio and the crew because they also had won Best International Film at DCIFF 2024. Congratulations. And without further ado, let's dive.
So the movie I presented there in DCIFF was Little Sahara, which is a movie that I made after a 2-week workshop in the refugee camps in Algeria with Sahrawi children. Western Sahara is a country recognized as such by the United Nations, but it's been occupied by Morocco before Spain could decolonize it. So it's still legally a Spanish colony. And most of its population are living in the middle of the desert. And they're totally dependent on humanitarian aid. And they've been like that for 50 years now because they're really stubborn. They really want to have their land back. And they're actually resisting and surviving. So I got the chance to visit them because I had done another movie about Syrian refugees living in Europe, something like 6 years ago, and sampled in a film festival called Sahara. They loved the idea of having a workshop there, so they invited me to go there. I did that, and the kids were telling me about the lives there. They were telling me about the history, and they were showing me. We decided to do some drawings, and from all of that, I did a movie, which in a way I tried to use to reboot a conflict that is so old. In a way, it's 50 years old that people here in Spain has forgotten, or people who are over 50 lived the whole situation, but children they don't know it. So it's kind of rebooting something so it doesn't fall into oblivion. And it's a half-an-hour movie. It's very ambitious in the way that I try to tell the whole story of this colony that's still pending decolonization. But I try to do it mixing some real footage video that it was there. I think there are twice, and the cartoon made by the children, or the drawings made by the children.
Wow, so a lot was incorporated into it. And were you planning through your trip to make this movie, or did it just kind of the idea get inspired by what you were exposed to?
I'm always thinking about how reality can become a movie. I guess I I always start my movies from something that's real. When I make more imaginative movies, they're always really sticking close to reality. So I went there just with the purpose of creating a nice experience and a beautiful workshop, and very curious about these kids because they were children that are in a special situation, like they have trouble with studies, or they might have some trouble with the law or things like that. It's an intern. How do you call these places where they actually live in the school? They sleep there.
Mhm.
So I was just curious about it, but I told them that we could make a movie about the history of their life depending on them. So I taught them how to tell a story, which is I try not to impose too much our way to tell stories because their ways they are nomadic uh, population or culture, and their stories are very different to ours. They're always the characters are always animals, and they always have a like a telling, like a lesson you can learn, a moral lesson. They also ask how are your stories and how would you tell it if you had to do like a movie. And they never watch movies, so it was a very nice conversation. Uh, like for that, like almost 20 days, and I didn't know where it was going to go. Then I came back home, and then I took a long time to like look at all the drawings, all the animations, and everything I had recorded. And the idea came then that I could do a movie, but it could have been a 10 minutes movie or something longer. And in the end, I thought 30 minutes is good. It's for me. It's a round number. It's difficult in a way. Like the 30 movies are waste. Not that good in festivals because like they're too long for a short film and they're not a feature film. But it like the idea of the movie as such happened once I was here, back in Spain.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So more of like the intention of like wanting to share a story, but how to do it like along the way. That's so interesting. And to be able to apply this to the trip and understanding like more of the culture and what ultimately inspired you to create this film. Was it the conflict that was in the area or?
Yeah, now in a way, I had research before going there. I already looked at the situation, the conflict. I read a lot just to really know what I could find. I had been in refugee camps before, like in Greece or in Haiti. So that part didn't really worry me. But I wanted to understand the story because in this kind of conflicts, like never mind what the United Nations say, Morocco says that this land is land. Um, the Sahara will say it's there. So you better have a lot of information if you don't want to step or say things that are right. But once I had all the information that I could understand, I came to the children like asking them, I have heard that this happened. Is this true? And let them tell my story. And sometimes it was complicated things like, and when Morocco invaded, what do you think your grandparents did? Or have you heard something like it? And sometimes it was silly things. Like from the beginning, it was like, I came here to the desert thinking that there's nothing here, but I've seen some animals. I saw a goat. They were, yeah, 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 the goats, like, and they're camels. And I was like, yeah, only that. No, 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 there's also this kind of bird. And once I was here, I really felt more close to their cause. And I really kind of fell in love with these people. I thought, it's only that if my country is a colonialist still, that I try to tell that and help them if I can. But the material, the drawings were so beautiful, the attitude was so nice. It would be nice. It would be good to do that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And to spread this awareness of the conflict because, there's so much going on with like Israel and Gaza, you see those we say bigger conflicts, but this is a bigger conflict too that has been long sustaining. So it's amazing that you're able to capture this and also to share, the children's perspective, like, the little Sahara. I just always thought of that, or I loved that title because it just shows a perspective that we don't normally see in media or in film, which is like following the lives and also perspective of children. So wanted to give you a lot of credit for that. And is this, if you remind me, is it this your first film or first documentary that you've created?
No, I don't know which is one is like my former film, uh, half an hour movie. I could get into in Spain. We have I'm gonna call them concentration camps for foreigners. I know that in the States there's also some kind of jails
Hmm.
where people go there without a proper tryout, without a real accusation, just because they don't have legal status like uh, passport or. So we have these places, and it's very difficult to get in. Um, because a lot of lucky situations, I could get into one of these places, and it's forbidden to take pictures there.
Hmm.
But we got some permission that we could take the pictures and not use them per se. But the pictures I took in all these jails were of the walls, and the walls were filled with drawings and texts that people had left there for several years. And some were like really nice, like happy that I could come to Spain because most of them were for people that crossed the ocean from Morocco or from Mauritania or Senegal to Spain, to the Canary Islands, in a trip that's sometimes it's 10 days, 2 weeks, and it's really dangerous. And some were really happy that they had finally arrived to Europe, but some were like really sad. They were telling stories of the families they left. So I interviewed some people that had been in these jails, in these how do they call them, like foreigners in internment centers, something like that. It's something that hides what they are. And so I did a movie animating all these drawings and with the stories of three of these people, like from two from Senegal and one from Nigeria. And before I did this movie with Syrian children in a Greek uh, refugee camp, because it was we were having like just 1.5 million Syrian refugees coming in like over 2 years, and the European Union couldn't handle it. It was really sad,
Hmm.
and they were living in really bad conditions in just refugee camps that don't deserve that night.
Yeah.
And this is my third documentary.
Wow. That's amazing. And for you to, want to go in, explore these stories and the fact that, the extra layer of permission is so, gratifying not only to capture as a filmmaker, but to be able to have permission to enter the lives of others that we want to be exposed to and to share that story. So, thank you so much for sharing and going into that. And related to your filmmaking, what ultimately inspired you to become a filmmaker?
Um, Ultimately, I don't know. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to do animation. Then when I was young, I couldn't do that in Spain, so I had to do fine arts. And after fine arts, I spent a while a bit lost doing some video art for artist friends. And I don't know how this happened. Actually, did a very small, it's called an animated. Yeah, an animated. That's in the real world, and it doesn't feel like all right because everybody's real and they're just animation. And from that, we signed the Cinematheque in Valencia. They saw the movie, and they recommended me to do something with crazy people, just like that. I'm crazy, so I can say crazy. So I did this little movie with people who are used to be in jail, and they're trying to to be a part of society again. Like, so, and from that, the people in Greece, they saw the movie and they said, "Oh, you should do something with these children." And it's been something like that. Like,
Mhm.
people keep referring me. I'm very bad with people. I'm sorry. Like, I'm good at listening to their stories, but I never know how to start a conversation if it's not so serious. But it's been something like that. One story leads to the next.
Mhm.
And
Definitely.
filmmaking is just, it feels natural. It's just like the natural way to do it. Because when I was doing art, just like just something that's a painting or a sculpture, it lacks narrative, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, that's so cool to be able to, you're trying to figure out like a different, you wanted to story tell, but ultimately we're trying to understand and, well, not only understand, but try to navigate how you wanted to go about it. So that's so unique. And thinking about that a little bit more, what would you say, like, whether it's like you're starting out or currently today, what would you say is like a major challenge within the film industry, whether it's in currently like your space where you are in Spain, or how are you seeing films develop over the years?
I think what's difficult is keep doing things. Because I'm usually teaching young people, and they all have these like good ideas that they want to make. Some become short stories, like short films, and after that, it might take them 10 years to do the next thing, and that's a long time to keep like writing and researching and preparing, because you need a lot of money to do any movie.
Hmm.
If it's money because you need a team and materials, so you need time, which is most what happens in animation. So it's really difficult to find a way to sustain yourself for a long time. And in Europe, we have this public, you call more public money that you can ask for if you have a good project. But just mm, uh, preparing a project that gets some public money, it can take you 2 years of researching and writing and
Wow.
writing more scripts and filling all the paperwork that you need. So it's a long time. If you're an independent artist, like your art is not very, it's the opposite of Netflix. It's not that way is also not available, which it's a good thing now for many people who don't really have such a personal language, I guess, or if they're big to make, like, of course, this here. But otherwise, you really have to struggle a lot and for a long time. And when you're young, that's difficult to it's difficult to see in perspective. Like, if I start now, in 10 years, I might get this done. It's a difficult way. But that's what you have to do, actually.
Hmm. Oh, for sure. Yeah, being able to just push through and, work through have grit to be able to get through and push through your ideas. Definitely. And as, the industry is changing. What was that?
Meeting people,
Hmm.
collaborating. Like, one thing that I had that helped me a lot is since people have been referring me, a good thing is that I normally say yes. Then I'm terrified of what I'm getting into. But if I say yes, I'm gonna get really interested because I'm always very curious. Then I get to wherever I say, "Oh my god, what am I gonna do now?" And oh my god, I said I'm gonna have a film in 2 years, but then you're there. So I try to say yes to the thing. That's how I met you all. So nice.
Yes, no, I mean by saying yes and going for it, and being able to put yourself out there. So, and it makes me so fortunate and, having worked with DCIFF and in the past few years working with different filmmakers, it's been awesome to be able to come together and have this sense of community, but also uplifting each other through the different projects we want to work on. So it's so awesome.
Yeah, it's good if you some advice. But mine is like really like think ahead like in long periods of time, even when it doesn't make sense, and then you can work some here. Then I'll be a waiter, which I've been. and then you're back into movies. And in the beginning, maybe you're lucky enough and you do different things from the art from the beginning,
Mhm.
but you might not, and it's really worth it for
Oh,
most people, I think.
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it benefited to be able to meet you and to come down for our 2024 season, and then also, yeah, to keep connecting and hopefully eventually collaborating together with some of the filmmakers. That'd be awesome.
Mhm.
And was
Yeah,
there,
it's a beautiful business, or it's a beautiful art. Like I'm thinking of all the nice. It's really nice, like seeing the movies of some people and then meeting the people and putting it all together. And it's a beautiful way of going through life.
Mhm, I agree. It's very much how I want to keep going about it for sure. And was there anything that I may not have asked that you wanted to share on the podcast?
No, no. But in the festival, something that surprised me in your festival is that people talked a lot about money, and in a very practical way. Most festivals here in Europe, we speak to each other like about this grant is about to by this place and or the European Union's, and it feels less direct. And at some moment, I had the draft in some places or Maria asking them like, "How do you sustain yourself?" Just like that, and it was so straightforward because here it's we don't speak of money like that. I guess like how do you how do how do you pay your coworkers? And it was really interesting because here it's something that with this movie, for example, I always had this thing like, hey, I want to pay them. I want to pay the kids. How do I pay the kids? Because they don't have papers. Okay, so I need to get like black money. You say that in English too. Like I need to
I
get
know what you mean.
money from my pocket. Yeah, I have to get money from my pocket and just bring it to Western Sahara. And how much money? And it was an issue here because uh like the kids the worship they were just like it was like pure documentary. But then I really had to hire kids like 7 years old to do the proper translation. I think I said when I present the movie there, I realized later that in the refugee camps we had recorded a version of the movie that was in classic Arabic, which is not what the children naturally speak. So when I went back home and I realized of that because a Sahrawi friend told me that it's very interesting that you did this. I was like, what they did? What did I do? And I wanted the movie to be in their dialect, which is natural.
Mhm.
So two children came to spend time in Valencia from Western Sahara. I will hire them. Like you need to do this, and it was a thing for me. Like the Sahrawis kept telling me because they're very socialist. Like no, you don't have to pay anything. Like you're doing this for us. Like but I was like no, our kids there instead of being playing ball, they're just like here
Mhm.
talking about Western Sahara again. And there was something that I like the way you spoke about money because it's something that you need. Like at least money to being able to sleep at night somewhere that's warm in the winter, and then next day you need to eat breakfast and go through the day and pay the electricity bill for the computer. That's something interesting.
Yeah, no, that's such a good thought to think about because we do talk about money in the sense of like, needing it, it helps us like get by and such like that. And then when I feel like in a documentary setting similar to you, like it's just, you kind of you feel for them and you just want to get like you're such an empath and wanting to give so much to them. And I really respect you for that and wanting to, make everyone ultimately happy in the environment that you're creating. So, yeah, it is interesting how we like, in the US compared to other countries, how we talk about money in film. So not much about the experience. So,
Let's say forward.
hmm
And I think that's it. Yeah.
yeah, no,
So
definitely.
yeah. Like, I guess I'll try to reach you people whenever I'm in Washington. Because everything was so packed and Russian
Mhm.
and the festival.
Yeah. I'll say there was a lot going on for sure. And yeah, we can definitely stay in touch with us because we can connect you with other filmmakers like who are alumni. So we consider whoever comes to DCIFF like your family. So feel free to keep reaching out to us if you need connections. But
What impact you're making too.
oh yeah, definitely. We love to see it.
Aaron, thank you for everything.
Oh, well, thank you, Emilio. It's been awesome. I'm glad we got to chat and catch up and to meet each other as well. So, but definitely stay in touch with us.
This podcast is brought to you by the DCIFF supporters. We could not be here without all of you to be sharing this amazing outlet with filmmakers from around the world. If you are interested in supporting DCIFF, head on over to our website through the link description in the bio of this episode, or you can go right to the website, which is DCIFF-INDIE.org, to connect with us and learn more about our Future of Film programs, our festival, and also more educational opportunities in what we do with our high school students, community, and beyond. We look forward to your support.